United States of America. Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, if we can get a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion to approve the consent agenda, if somebody wants something pulled out. Which I would like the consideration of bills pulled out for discussion. We put that in the new business, is that right?
Yes.
That's the last item in new business, or should be the first item?
It'll be. Yeah, it'll be the first item. No, it's, let's put the last item. It's easier to track it that way.
Arrows all over the paper. All right. Does anybody want anything else pulled out? If not, I think we will consent agenda with the bills pulled out of that. So, okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No delegation, public comments, how long we on there? Thank you, sir. All right, now on there, force update, Colonel Dawson.
Yep, check them up here.
Yes.
All right.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. So, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Mr. Gilbert, awesome to be here. Dominique is at a scholarship banquet, helping hand out scholarships to some awarding folks. So, I'm here instead of the B team. So appreciate the opportunity to come speak to you today. Couple of updates from the base. One, I think you're all tracking April is the month of the military child. There's been events well underway this month. The governor's proclamation at the state capitol on the 4th was a big success, a good turnout. We had some good kind of press coverage from our public affairs office. A lot of articles and pictures and whatnot went out online. So that was a hit. Tomorrow is the big Purple Up Day celebration at Stevenson tomorrow morning. Big to do as the kids are showing up to school around 8 o'clock. Lots of pomp and circumstance, kind of fist bumps and hand out swag and whatnot. I took part in it last year. It was a blast. We're also expecting a proclamation to be read from the mayor, and much of the base leadership will be in attendance there. And Channel 11 is going to be there providing some news coverage as well. Found out I'm going to be attending the high school pep rally tomorrow. They're kind of giving a quick pitch there, trying to figure out what it is high school students want to hear from me. But I'm going to give just a real quick hit there too, talking about military children and support of the military community. Happy to say the base has about 125 volunteers signed up so far to support upcoming school events, including prom, the 4th grade field day, and senior, like the lock-in after graduation. And we're also looking forward to supporting the career day on the 24th. We're all set for the senior corps presentations on the 26th of April. That's where we recognize graduating military affiliated seniors with the cord they wear with their gown. Our commander, Colonel Alfaro, is going to be out there to give some short remarks, and I get to be in proud dad mode that day, sitting in the audience. Dominique, I think last week provided a bunch of canvases to all of the different schools. The intent is to have schools populate those with art or whatever. She's going to pick them up the last week of school, hang them in our Gunfighter Service Center, and have a whole hallway dedicated to kind of celebrating the different Mountain Home schools. So we're looking forward to that. Believe there was some discussion last week on the education assessment, or last month on the education assessment we did. That survey wrapped up last week. We're looking at the results, kind of doing some QC on the data, and looking forward to kind of seeing what we glean from that. The results are really intended for government use. It was really we're using a situational awareness tool to understand how the parents of base children view the educational opportunities for their kids. We hear at the leadership level anecdotal stories all the time. Some are good, some are bad. And what we're looking at is a more comprehensive analysis of like, hey, you know, what are the challenges? What are the good things? What do folks need, so that we can better focus our education, our outreach, and our advocacy for our military families. So we're kind of pouring through those results now. And then last update I had for you guys tonight, the base has stood up a working group to focus on real property actions related to Stevenson Elementary School. There's kind of two parallel projects. One is to renew the current land lease for Stevenson now, because that lease expires in 2025 and there's a long process to redo it. And the second is a new lease to cover the real estate for a projected new build. So this is a long process. We're the government after all. There's a lot of bureaucracy. First thing, we require approval from Air Force A1 at the Pentagon. They give us a notice to proceed. And then we have to work with the Air Force Civil Engineer Center on the actual real property action. So we're working hard. We put together a team of experts. We're working with the district on the package, the proposal that we have to endorse and send up. And we're doing everything we can to speed those, kind of lead turn those and speed them through the process. And it is, I can assure you, at the very top of the priorities that I'm working on, the base has. And then I guess I lied. I have one last thing. Dominique wanted me to pass along that she's going to be out on medical leave for 3 weeks, starting the 29th of April. She wanted to assure you that I guess there are a lot of school field trips planned during the month of May, but those are squared away, locked in, finalized, and her absence should not impact those. And she'll still be available by phone in the case of emergency. So that's my update. Happy to take any questions on those or any other topic while I'm here.
Colonel Dawson, you mentioned the survey
Yep.
results, you guys going through those, and you also mentioned those are for basically government purposes. Will those be shared at least with the district office with Mr. Gilbert?
Sure. So we're gonna take what we can glean from them. And certainly if there's general trends, or definitely if there's like actionable type comments or things we can do to get after, I'm happy to share that. It just wasn't, when we did the survey, the intent wasn't to use it to like steer, guide, or help other entities, but certainly if we have the things we can share, we will. That just wasn't I guess the initial intent of the survey, but don't want to hold, we're not gonna keep it secrets for sure, because the things that we uncover, we want to help. If they're good, we want to celebrate them, these are wins, we need to continue, and if there are challenges or things that are frustrating families, we obviously want to help them go better too, so.
Yeah, and I don't think we need to go down that same road we went last month as far as, what the intent was.
Yep.
But I think that if good or bad, I think we want to know, especially that, right, to improve. I mean, when questions are being asked about education to parents in this area, the only education they're probably going to speak to is the education from this district, for the most part.
Predominantly, yeah.
Anyway, if we could, we'd love to see it at least.
Yep, happy, once we have that wrapped up, I'm happy to share the certain the trends for sure, any specific actionable things.
Any other questions for Colonel Dawson?
Colonel Dawson, how long is the lease renewal for?
So typically, I think we do 5-year leases. I can tell you that for the new lease, the stipulation that comes from DoD for the big grant, the Public Schools and Military Installations PSMI grant, is for a much longer lease, like 25 or 30 years. So, and that's part of the length, gonna get longer, and that's more wickets and people to review. So, I think we're gonna be doing a short-term normal renewal for the current real estate, and a much longer one for the new parcel of land.
Awesome. Colonel Dawson, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Superintendent's report, Mr. Gilbert.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, there's 2 documents in your board packet this month that I'm gonna go over with you. One of them is a fund balance review, and this I think it's good to review what exactly our fund balance is used for and why we carry the fund balance we carry. And part of this is a discussion that came up with our facilities group, asking about what is available there from the district's end. And so what you have in that document is we've got the general fund and then the all funds combined. And really the one to focus on is the all funds combined. So currently we carry right now, as when Levi prepared this, the fund balance is at $11,754,538, which is great. If you remember back to 5-6 years ago when it was at $0 and a great concern. So what we do with this is, the auditors always recommend that you carry several months of operations costs in your fund balance. Typically, the recommendation is for best practices to carry 3 months of operations costs in your fund balance. And the reason for that is we've seen federal funds sometimes come to a standstill when the government shuts down. But it also happens at the state level. And we've been fortunate it hasn't happened lately, but there are times that they will delay payment to districts as well. And if you recall back, probably 2014, probably around 2014, there was talk about having to actually take out a short-term loan to cover expenses for the month because the state was delaying payments to districts. So if you look at what our monthly operations are for the district, and this is for everything, salaries, benefits, every expense that we have, you're looking at $3,144,837. So with our fund balance right now, we carry about 3.74 months of operations in that fund balance. We don't carry exactly 3 months because the other 0.74 of that we keep in reserve for things that may occur within our facilities that require immediate action. You know, and when you look at that, if something goes above that 0.74 amount, then you'd be digging into your operations reserve. So I just wanted to put that out there. There has been questions about why we're not using that money to build new schools or portions of schools and those kind of things. And so I liken it to your own bank account. You don't try to operate on a $0 balance every month, as that is not in our best interest to operate on such a thin margin. So, you know, the fiduciary responsibility we have is to make sure that the district is in a position that can operate if there's something that impedes cash flow coming into the district. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have on that.
So I remember when we had that was in 16, where Cliff was talking about how the state was iffy on getting us our new money on time, the
Yes.
short-term loans, and they wanted, it was like $3,000 just to do the paperwork on a short-term loan for
Yes.
because of this. And I know that we've had this here where we've had the holdbacks before from the state.
Yeah.
Like during COVID, they took that 5% holdback off. And it didn't affect the district. I mean, I heard the district financially, but with this, it didn't affect what we had operating.
Okay, the second document, I had a request to compile the yearly cost per sport estimate. And so I had Levi compile salary and benefits, an estimate of utilities, and then purchased services and supplies affiliated with each of those activities. So you can see the totals on that right there, per sport, and then a total cost on there. And so again, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have on that document. Okay, and then the last item is I would like Matt would like to share some information on online registration.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we are coming up on new student registration and returning student registration. And we are coming up on a spot where we've had PowerSchool for a long time. We've been doing kind of the same online registration for a long time with PowerSchool, but PowerSchool is adapting to kind of the new way to do things and adapting to mobile phones in everyone's pocket and all of the other things that come with how we operate as a school district today versus how we did kind of 15 years ago. So it's been time for an update. The big push for this is, like I said, Power School's changing and they're changing how their program is written. So some of those customizations that we created in 2010, 2012 are gonna stop working with the newer versions of Power School. So Power School naturally has a solution for that. It's called Enrollment Express. It's kind of two parts to it. This is something that you've probably seen with other companies where they don't do as much in-house development. They do more purchasing of known good systems and then integrate it in. So Enrollment Express is that. There is, like I said, two parts to this. Enrollment Express is specifically made for new student enrollment and returning student enrollment. That sits on top of a piece of software that lets us basically ask just about anything of our parents to fill out in an electronic form that we can then take, look over and approve, or just have it instantly go into Power School. So this week we've got some training for secretaries. I'm not gonna put her on the spot, but Sharon Goldsby is here. She's been doing a large portion of all this work, figuring out what we had, figuring out where that ties into Power School, so that it's easier for all of our new students and returning students to do the same process we've been doing for years. We're close enough now that we'll start to publish this out to parents and teachers, but not teachers, parents in the community. But wanted to, since we have a nice timely board meeting, give you guys a quick overview of what that's gonna look like. So basically, right now we have paper packets that you start with, that gets manually added by secretaries. And then once all that's added, parents can go in and add all that information accordingly. However, you can't use your phones with the current solution. This kind of resolves all that. So there's a populated form here that gives us more or less all of that same information that we had before. So student information, where the household is that the student resides, some basic, where do you want your kid to go? What school year are you looking for? So either right now or next year. Once they submit this, we get a notification. The building will get a notification and, hey, you have a potential new student. They can go through and look and see, okay, this street actually exists in our town. They spelled things correctly. Once they approve that, the parents would get an email letting them know that they can go and fill the rest of those forms out. So some of you may recognize, I forgot to turn off the green, Sharon. This is our test server, so it's lime green.
I make it green, so I can tell it's not the live side.
Yeah, it's not great when you add new kids to, the live system. You'll notice up here is some of the old registration forms. Where we'll be going now is down to this forms area. And like I said, for each of your students, just about any form that we have, we can reproduce here and have it either go directly in or go through an approval process by the buildings to make sure stuff is okay. So parents will be going to enrollment. You'll see new student enrollment, and these are all of the forms that we have recreated. These are what used to be on paper or partially in here. Returning students have a smaller amount of them, but still information that they need to go check. You'll notice this is me as a parent. It gives you statuses to where things are going. So we can approve stuff. We can say, yeah, this street doesn't exist, or maybe I need to call somebody, or maybe you type something incorrectly. I know that Mr. Binion's name isn't spelled like this. We can reject that. It goes back to here. Parents get a notification. They can try again. It also tracks everything, so we don't have to print all of this out. We can actually go look at the actual form that they did. This is our test environment, so I can't necessarily submit some of these, but same kind of a thing. You go through, fill all of these out. There are things that if you select no, it then pulls up new information that we have to have. Some forms like military connected, we traditionally had go into a temporary field, but then we had to go put it into a different field. And we had to translate that at the building level. This, we can tell it to go directly into all of the fields. Also, one of the big things, you can do this on your phone now. So we don't have to have a paper document for someone that doesn't have a computer at home. They can come to us for help and we can pull this up on their phone, with the app, and it all automatically works the same way everything else does. One of the other big things is, you'll notice birth certificate here. We have to have that, but traditionally that's been kind of a pain. Because if you have a new person come in, they may or may not bring it. If they bring it, we have to figure out how to scan it, to copy it, to put it in a permanent record. This, take a picture on your phone, upload it, automatically syncs in. And then it's backed up in PowerSchool, so we can just go reference that whenever we want. Very similar forms for returning students. So you will see, let's go to this student. Do you intend to return? Do you have any demographic updates to change? Some of the surveys that we have to do, fill out, you can fill out here, update student contacts. This ties to all of the rest of the siblings that they have. So if you have more than one student in the district, you can just check a box to make this one update for everybody. So we know there's gonna be little hiccups, but generally speaking, we're pretty excited that this should take a lot of work off of secretaries and parents that kind of go through a convoluted process. Should be pretty quick and easy. There will be, I'm gonna make some videos to walk people through this. We'll have handouts. We're obviously gonna train everybody internally, so still hope to be rolling this out May 1st. Any questions? Comments, things you'd like to see?
I like it, but I have a couple questions for you.
Yeah,
So for our, like the older kids, the high school kids, can they do this on their own? Or do the parents have to do it?
oh, so we can, however we want. So there are some things specifically like the athletic packet that we make the kids sign. So we can actually have them go in. Go show you. On this general forms, there's a reproduction of the athletic packet. So some of these forms, the student will have to go in and say, oh, I can do this. I agree that this is what happens. And then they sign it, but that's all they can touch. We can do that for anything. So right now, it's all parents, but we could customize that as we need.
So if we get the stuff that the students can do for that, or even for the parents, for returning kids, returning athletes. When they open that form, does it pre-populate their information that you have in the
Yep.
system?
Some of the information.
Yeah. As necessary, right? So if we,
Some of it we want them to answer every year.
Right.
but like if I go to the student demographic update, it lists the students up here and what information we already have. And then I can say, do you need to make a change? Cool. Then we can. It's kind of one of those, the answer is always really yes, it's just how much work is that?
It's gonna follow policy. Right now, if the policy is the parents have to sign it, they still have to sign it.
Right.
If they're under 18, they still have to have a parent signature on a lot of stuff. But if they're over 18, they can do it themselves, so. It's still gonna follow the same format we've always done.
Looks good.
But the pre-population is nice.
Yeah, I like that.
Very cool, awesome, thank you, guys. You have anything else? No,
That's it.
Any questions from Mr. Gilbert? Awesome. All right, building presentation, West Elementary, Ms. Cruiser.
Whoa.
You were right. I just messed up. Board of Trustees Public Engagement Report. Anybody have anything to report?
I think that, I have a few staff members reach out to say thank you for questions I asked the last meeting.
I think we all got the email from Dominique base liaison about trying to put something together, quarterly breakfast with, members from the fund base and city and all that. So I think she got different responses from all of us, so just for the record, she did reach out to us for that. And she was explaining about posting rules, things like that, if we do that, so basic stuff. Anybody else? Okay, moving on to new business. Okay, out of district open enrollment, Mr. Gilbert.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, you have two requests for out of district open enrollment this month. These are two requests from parents whose children currently attend our schools here in Mountain Home. We have one request from a family in Bruno and one from Glens Ferry. Again, transportation is provided by the families when it's an out of district request, so I would ask for the approval of those two out of district open enrollment applications.
We get a motion to approve the out of district open enrollments. So moved.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, approval to move the budget workshop, Mr. Vick.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I ask that we move the budget workshop to May 28th at 6 P.M. The State Department was late getting the forms out. They just got released last week, so it doesn't give you enough time to get the budget prepared.
I will not be here that day, but you have at least four. I'm okay. We get a motion to approve the move of the budget to May 28th at 6 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay. What was there a second? Sorry. Let's go. All in favor? Any opposed? Sorry. Yes. All right, approval of the bid proposal, Mr. Adams.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, this month I ask you to approve two E-rate bids. The last time I came to you, we decided to upgrade our wireless, but that existing license runs out a little bit earlier than we'd like. So one is to extend the support for our existing wireless networks through the summer. The second is we've got some devices out on the football field that we just need to continue to support and license. So as before, these both come with a 70% E-rate discount, so you get a pretty good deal on that. So
You know, you mentioned the Tiger Field. I was wondering, does the new scoreboard have something to do with any of that? Is it more
It does
just
not.
existing stuff we've had out there?
stuff that we added, I believe, last year, Mr. Gilbert, that provides wireless and, school network in the press box and the concession stand. So not using it for too much other than guest wireless at this point, but that gives opportunity to live stream and stuff easier, so. So I would ask your approval of the two bids as presented.
I think we're going to motion to approve the bid proposal as presented by Mr. Adams.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, here we go. Policy adoption. Mr. Gill.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, again, this is requesting a first and only reading on these as we transition over to the Idaho School Board Association policy writing. So we have 18 policies there that we're asking for a first and only reading. Once those are placed into policy, then they are part of that next review cycle as we review policy. So if you want to go through each 18 of these policies, if you'd like, or we can take them along.
Yeah, I think we can take it on a block.
Oh, I'm agree every page.
Mike is making quick. If we get a motion to approve the policy adoption in the first and only reading. And if anybody, if somebody wants one pulled out and discuss it, we can. It's just one.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Item E, approval of letter of support for Stevenson Elementary School. Mr. Gilbert, I'll let you introduce us.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, in conversation with base leadership, one of the things we discussed was having a letter of support for the financial commitment to the PSMI project come from the school district. I offered to write a letter of support, but it was requested that that letter actually come from the school trustees. And so I want to put that out there for your discussion and advisement on that and how to move forward with it.
I'll just chime in. My opinion is I think we've all agreed to do this. Anyway, it's a board. I wouldn't have a problem with the letter of support, but I think that along with that would be, I think some commitments in writing from the base as well. And what I would be looking for is basically ceasing all conversations, discussions with and about any charges. Now, if we don't follow through with what we committed to, should ultimately basically right.
Exactly. That was my first question, was if we do this, are we getting the same letter of support back from the base?
Any other recommendation?
I mean, our actions alone said that we're pretty committed to this. I mean, we're paying an architect to come up with design. And we're looking for, we've gone after, when James found a grant, to hopefully get from the senator's office. If we weren't committed to this, we wouldn't be working as hard as we are. So,
But I appreciate they want it right. Yeah, as long as we put everything in writing.
Thank you.
We need a motion to approve the letter, and I guess my word one.
We will write a letter.
Yes. With the additions in writing, with the base or
with that stipulation,
yeah, with the stipulation.
I'll make a motion that we approve the letter of support proceedings and with the stipulation that the basement requirements be laid out.
A second
All in favor?
it.
Any opposed? Okay, so you got item F, new item, under new business, on the bills, I just had a question, I guess, I'll just give over, I'm not sure where to go with it. I just noticed, and maybe this was on last month, so it was, shame on you for not seeing it, Dragonfly Sports, and all I care about is sports, anyway, so it stuck out to me. I was just curious what that was.
So Dragonfly Sports is a program that the Idaho High School Association uses to pay referees. And so all districts use Dragonfly to reimburse the officials right now. There was a time, and Levi, correct me if I'm wrong, we also were using it to pay the workers, correct?
Correct.
But we are no longer using that. And so it's a weird thing, like, I understand why IHSA went to it because it's a real consistent way for those officials to get paid. We have some concerns with it though, from the standpoint of how that fits into reporting on our audit. So that was part of the reason we quit paying our workers through that system. However, I think if you look at an official, the chances of them working enough in our district to have to receive a 1099 is pretty slim.
Sure.
And so that's the system the state uses to reimburse the officials.
I think the second part of that question for me would be, how long have we been using this Dragonfly search to pay officials, and wondering why we're just not saying that.
Yeah. That I can't answer. I think is this year 3?
Maybe, I think it's year 2.
Bill's an official. He didn't know.
Oh, it's 3.
Yeah, we're-
And that doesn't have an answer today, but I was just kind of curious about that. And I noticed it was $5,000, so is that 1 month? They cover a month of officials, and what was that?
I believe that in Sam, when we talked about this, I think that covers like fall sports and then you do a winter sport payment and kind of broken down by season. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We'll get you more info on it.
Okay, maybe next meeting or something. Thank you. That was it on that. All right, if we can get a motion to go into executive session.
So
Mr. Chairman, can you make a motion for the consideration of bills?
Yes. We get a motion to approve the consideration of this.
So moved.
I want to make sure. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You guys hear about coming out of the chair when I said Nikki Cruiser was. Nikki Now we need a motion to go into executive.
I was looking up and down the
Second.
agenda to see if I missed it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sharon, can you change the roll call?
Trustee Knox,
Aye.
trustee Fred.
Aye.
Trustee Donna.
Aye.
Aye. We are in executive session.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah, next one. One time.